It looks like the beast is a chimera.
Not necessarily. Hi everyone, welcome to New Teen Wolf Review. This week's episode was called Codominance. Let's talk about it. I have no quick thoughts.
Let's just jump right into it.
With Lydia. I wish there was more to it. I just feel like she just walks around in her, like, pajamas or whatever, the robes.
You don't know if it's the past or the future.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's the present.
Is it, though?
It is. It's before the whole. She's still learning. But I feel like, you know what? How about you take a break from Lydia for, like, one episode and then give us, like, actually something that she's doing. We don't need to see every single character every single episode. You know, like Game of Thrones. You don't see every character every single episode. But when you do see them, it moves the story along.
So there you go. You have to, do what Game of Thrones does from time to time.
Yeah.
Give
take a Lydia break, and then give us like a good
take a
moment.
Lydia break. I like that.
The Beast.
We did find out quite a few things about the Beast.
Yes.
Yes.
So they answered the question you had last week about how did they bring it back? Like, what is it? So they did use a body.
Yeah.
But it's just like, we just need something to like put the spirit of the beast in there, right?
Yeah. So I guess all the experiments that they were doing all throughout was to get to the stage where they could put the beast back in. I think so. I think that's the entire point of it.
But what they were saying was that they tried to do the chimera and then they realized that was never going to work. So then they decided to resurrect
I
the beast.
I didn't get that.
That's what I thought it would happen.
Is that what you got?
Well, yeah.
I did not get.
How would that? How is that helpful to just bring back?
No, No. I disagree. Here's why. Because even Mason was saying like, "Is it the last chimera?" And the other guy said, "No, that's not what we call him." It's not like
No, he said that's not what Theo calls him.
Yeah, but
because but Mason doesn't know. Like he doesn't know what we know, that they actually resurrected.
Okay.
A creature. So that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so you don't think it's a chimera?
No.
You don't think it has anything to do with chimeras?
I don't think so.
I think it has completely everything to do with the chimeras.
Really?
No, I think every single experiment was about finding a way to bring back the beast.
No, I feel like that's not what they said. I feel like they said...
I think they weren't clear about it, but that's what I think.
I feel like that's what they said, is that they realized the chimera stuff wasn't working. Hence, they're like, all right, we need to bring back this other beast, which was perfect.
That's not what I think. That's not what I think.
Because the beast is a werewolf.
So, Theo's not a werewolf?
But no, but I'm saying the beast is like a real werewolf. Like he was made a werewolf. He wasn't a chimera werewolf.
You don't know that.
Yeah,
You don't know that. Okay, you're making an assumption. You don't know that.
I just think that's what it is, but
look.
Maybe I'm wrong.
She doesn't think that the beast is a chimera the same way I think that the beast is a chimera. You guys, comment below, let us know what you think. Is the beast a chimera? Yay or nay?
Malia beating on Theo. I'm sure you were excited.
Yeah. At least someone was doing real work in this episode, but obviously she didn't go far enough, because it's like, Theo's like, I can help you, and Malia is like, oh yeah, of course, let me stop beating you.
Well, to be fair, he might be able to help her.
This is why, okay, here's my thing with Theo. I know everybody thinks that I'm on a Theo rant every single time, but I actually have a larger point. This is getting ridiculous. Even Hayden is being ridiculous. So it's like, Theo knows what's best for us and all that.
Well, to be fair, Scott hasn't done anything for her.
Hold on.
So as far as
why is Hayden in the situation she's in right now? Who put her in that situation?
The doctors?
Yeah, and who brought her to the doctors?
Is it Theo?
Yes! He did all of it! All of it! He brought her there. He created the situation that caused her to actually die. He brought her back to life, and she's now grateful and defending him. Do you see how ridiculous this is? Do you see how far into the ridiculousness we've gone? I can't. I just can't. I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
Liam made his first attempt at being like, hey, Scott, I know I killed you, but can I please help you?
I have to say, Scott didn't really, handle that very well.
Actually, I thought he did okay because
he was passive aggressive about it. Instead of confronting him and saying what you did was wrong, I'm hurt. They
didn't have time. They had to go get Kira.
You know what? I don't think Scott really wanted to take time on this one.
Well, he needs to bring back Liam into the pack. I think he was just not ready to do it just yet.
It wasn't the episode. It wasn't.
It wasn't a
Liam episode.
Right?
That's what happened.
Scott and Stiles go on a road trip.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop. Poor Roscoe the Jeep.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's still alive.
The struggle is real there.
It looks like the gas is half full. Not necessarily.
I like that they were reconnecting and they sort of addressed the fact that they didn't really talk, because talking is important.
Even Scott was like, I know the difference between like murder and self-defense, dude.
This show is like sometimes really confusing me because they create some situations that are absurd, right? Like where Stiles for some reason is not telling his friend that, he had to do something in self-defense when it was clearly self-defense, right? That's one. And then second of all, having a conversation about that exact same fact. It's like, why? I'm happy, but at the same time I'm disappointed and happy. I'm like, so confusing.
You know what? And then we get to my favorite part. Kira. I feel like, see, I got my Kira t-shirt. Kitson Egg. I actually wish they had spent more time on Kira. See, remove the Lydia part and put even more Kira in the episode would have been great. Because every time they cut away from it, I was like, just get back to it. Just get back to it. Well, first of all, I was intrigued by the Skinwalkers. Yeah, because they said, well, if you fail the test, then you have to stay with us. I'm like, is that what happened to you? Like, are you a Skinwalker because you failed your test?
That's, yeah.
So I'm like, I kind of want to know, like, what they are.
Yeah.
And then they say, she's afraid to use her sword. So then I'm like, well, if she's not afraid to use her sword, then she could be, like, pretty badass. And then, of course, you have the moment where the Kitson Egg...
Didn't that last like 3 seconds?
But it was like the best part. I was like, oh my god, fuck spirit!
I could literally hear the budget just evaporate in that. Like, 3 seconds! Stop! That's all we could afford, guys! Like, what the hell?
I will say though, at the end of that, like when she comes up, it's like, well, you didn't really kill it. The fox said, I'm like, I feel like it's okay. Like the fox is kind of cool. Like, are you sure it's a problem?
You know what? Teamwork makes the dream work. That's all I'm gonna say about that, guys.
And then, the Scott Kira reunion.
It was very inappropriate because they were making out right behind the mom.
I know, but she wasn't really looking at them.
Yes, because that was very inappropriate. She would like, what's going on in the back there?
But I literally was tearing up at that point. Were you not tearing up?
No.
Although I have to say, because she didn't really pass the test, aren't we back at the same point we were when she left, where it's like, she's a little bit unpredictable?
Yeah. I feel like that's gotta make for some interesting scenes.
And then finally, Kurian. Oh, well, we kind of knew he was gonna be back because of the trailer. But
why does Thea want?
Well, okay, so we find out that Thea wants to become an alpha, which he's not.
Yeah.
And Kurian, he is like the ultimate alpha, so he knows how to become an alpha.
He's not a real werewolf. He's never gonna be a real alpha.
I don't know. Maybe he thinks Kurian might have some. Maybe he wants to kill Kurian.
I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be interesting to see him back.
I'm just excited that he's back because he was probably I think he was my favorite villain. Yeah.
So, what do we think of this episode overall?
I liked it.
It was better.
I think the Kira thing for me was my favorite part, of course.
I definitely like this episode better than most. I mean, yeah, the Theo beat up really helped. What do you guys think? Do you like this episode a little bit more? What do you think about our theories regarding the Beast? Is he a chimera? Is he not? Comment below. Let us know.
Also, I should mention that next week I will be gone. So, Americ will be taking on the Teen Wolf Review by himself.
I'll be free! Free to express myself, finally! But anyways, guys, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our Teen Wolf reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!
At least they acknowledged that
was
Scott was like, dude, of course I wouldn't have been mad at you. Why didn't you tell me?
And also,
which is what we were saying this whole time. Like,
and
why
also
aren't you
maybe
telling
you should have
him?
asked more questions and been like, exactly how did you kill him? Like, just break it down for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.